Welcome to the Sophia Chang Show. Let's get one thing straight. I hate Alexa and I always will. She has been nothing but an asshole to me. She's actually made me cry. I kid you not. Her attitude is so bad that she had me in tears. And I'm like, what the heck? You're a fucking robot. I get enough shit from customer service. I don't need it from a machine. She will always be my enemy. With that said, she may have solved my audiobook woes. If you've been listening for a while, you know that there are two things that I can't stand in a voice. It's people with high-pitched voices and the California accent. Most notably, I explicated this in episode 26, I Hate Your Voice, 5 Reasons Your Podcast is Unlistenable, in which I also give you 5 fixes for your terrible voice. And I recorded this back in 2019, but the problem with having only 5 listeners is that nobody heard it, and it's only gotten worse. I can say I remember this epidemic of shitty American voices starting in the early 2010s. Most notably, I think in 2014 was when there was this preponderance of men who spoke like annoying Cali girls, like Kardashians, basically. I was hoping that it would be isolated to just Southern California, but then I noticed it spreading across the country, even to my precious beloved New York. Come on, people, don't lose our wonderful accents. Don't start speaking like a dumb reality star. And I don't know if we need to blame reality television for elevating stupidity to everybody's is elevating even the right word, dragging the souls of America down to wanting to be stupid, but for some reason now everybody wants to sound like an idiot, to the point where podcasts, I think, were the first. I just listened to one just a few days ago, highly, highly rated. I think it was produced by the Gimlet. Professional podcasters, been doing it for years. I turned it on. These 2 dudes were talking like they were Cher from Clueless, and I wanted to reach through my speaker, grab their larynx, and rip it out. I never said I wasn't violent. Stupidity makes me very violent. So podcasts have been completely ruined for me, even if it's somebody that I know in real life and I don't remember them sounding that atrocious. This is a true story too. I listened to this woman's podcast because I've worked with her before, and on the podcast, suddenly I was just like, "Why do I wanna punch you repeatedly in the face? What has happened? Did you always sound this blonde?" I don't know. Podcasts have been ruined for me. Audiobooks were the next to go, and this is a really sad moment of mourning for me because I'm entirely dependent upon audiobooks. Um, Ever since my amazing, wonderful disease that gave me all these awesome impairments and disabilities, I can't read books anymore, and so audiobooks, that's all I've got, man. And, just recently, I heard the most inappropriate casting. It just shows you the American cultural hegemony and how it hurts everybody. So there's a book written by a Scandinavian author. I'm trying to be really vague because I have to be politically correct. There's a I know. When have you been politically correct, you frat boy? So this Nordic writer's book was translated into standard UK English, which is, surprise, surprise, the lingua franca taught around the world. And it would have done really well to have a British sorry if you hear a bird outside my window. It's actually piercing my ear. "You have a really high-pitched voice, sir." I had to go shut my window because that bird's high-pitched voice was making me rageful. So, what I was saying was, had they gotten a Nordic or British narrator, they could have I think it would have done really well. It would have been more nuanced. I find that UK narrators don't have this problem of a terrible accent, and for some reason, They all have really pleasant, usually low voices, probably because they actually value sounding not like an idiot on that side of the pond. Instead, they hired this American who had a YA voice. Now, I really hate YA voices. I teach teenagers, and I don't think I have a single student in my over a decade of working with them that talked the way narrators do when they try to approximate teenagers. So I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to read out of the only book I have on hand, The Giant's House, which is my favorite book on earth. So I apologize, Elizabeth McCracken, that I am going to read your book like a YA narrator. So YA voice, there's like two. There's I, oh my god. Okay, so it's either a grown woman who's doing this with her voice. Patty Flood and her good mood were starting to get on my nerves. Her mood was so good, it was almost a physical thing. A monkey on a leash that she'd let leap all over the furniture, delighting only its owner. So I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's because people are coming from like the animation world where you're supposed to put on that weird voice, but again, I don't have any teenagers that sound like that, thank God, because 'cause I'd be like, "No, I'm sorry, you're not getting into college." I if an interviewee ever walked up to me and started talking like that, I'd be like, "No, I'm sorry, I don't think Harvard is for you." Uh, Harvard is like, "We don't represent her right now, she doesn't represent any of our views." Okay, this is the second YA voice. This is what I call the Misha Barton accent. Do you guys remember her from the OC? She has this really bizarre accent. I'm not sure where it comes from. She's a native New Yorker, I hear, but I don't know. That's not my accent. But then again, I got rid of a lot of my New York vowels in college, like just like Colin Jost. I'm not the only. He got rid of his Staten Island. Okay, so this is her awkward accent, and this is the one that narrator was using in the Scandinavian book. I myself hadn't been in New York for years. At one time in my life, I thought I'd want nothing so much as to live there. I had a college friend whose parents had an apartment near Central Park. I visited them once a year. They took me to dark wooden restaurants, to museums and concerts. The colors of everything from the red flannel hash to the faded brownstones were beautiful. Right? What is that? What is that? It's not really Cali. What is that? It's just annoying. That's what it is. So, how does this all relate to my feud with Alexa? It has to do with Prime Day. Yes, I got suckered into it. There was this deal on little Echo Dots for something ridiculous like $19 and 6 months of free Amazon Music. I have to say that's actually why I bought it. And this was before she made me cry. So I was like, "Okay, this is a good deal. I bought it." She made me cry. I wanted to burn it the second it arrived in the mail, but I think I was just so desperate to hear music while I'm doing laundry. I set it up. First of all, I called her Echo to differentiate her from the system that the house is on, which doesn't belong to me, belongs to my roommate. And I set my name to "I'm sorry I hurt you." So when I ask her who she's talking to, she'll say, "I'm sorry I hurt you." Because you see, if an AI is going to be an asshole to me, I have to prove that I am still passing the Turing test before her. I am still passing the Turing test, and I can make her apologize for the sins that she has committed against me. Now, if only we could get our bullies to do that. So they make you install an app on your phone in order to set up your Echo device. And so I'm just playing around pushing buttons, and I see this accessibility thing. I see this like you can play whatever you want, your music, your Audible book, which is also why I got this so I could set it up with my Audible. And then I saw that it connected to my Kindle. And I was like, "Wait, what?" It turns out that it will read your Kindle aloud in a voice creepily more human than, first of all, some audiobook narrators, and especially more than Siri. I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. I started playing it and all of a sudden this voice, this strangely uncanny valley humanoid voice started reading in my Kindle books. And I was just like, "Oh my, this is a game changer." Now, when there's a crappy narrator for an audiobook, I can just take the Kindle out of the library and have my Echo read it for me. No more terrible YA voice. No more annoying Encino Valley Girl accent. I'm free! Freedom! I just want to thank you so much for listening to the Sophia Chang Show, whether this is your first episode, which is a fantastic episode to start on, by the way, or you've been listening since day one in 2018. Without you, I would just be speaking into an empty room, which is really weird. You can help me out by passing this on to your friends, leaving a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen. I'm all over the place. I just want to thank you for listening.